Hello friends, today we have a very special repair. We are going to disassemble and clean this guy. Is in the Nikon DA-1, which is the sports or action finder of the Nikon F2 camera. Another way of seeing it, this is the vintage live view. You had your image, whatever you wanted to take, and then here you had projected what was going on and then what was being seen by the lens. So live view without batteries, really interesting part. And then the particular history of this part that I have here is that the owner tried to disassemble it for cleaning, but then at some point he got stuck and then he wasn't neither able to clean it or to put it back together, so he sent it to me. So I was able to either clean it or put it back together, or both. So the first thing I did was to put it back together. It wasn't really easy because I just got a bag full of screws and then parts. So it took me a bit of time this morning. I was able to figure that out. I was able to see some photos of this guy from the exterior on the internet that helped. And then right now we are going to disassemble it for the actual cleaning, and then I'm going to show you step by step so you don't get stuck like the owner of this guy. So first thing, we're going to remove this front element, which is in really nice condition, so we'll try not to damage it. Okay, 4 screws gone, and then we are able to remove this part of the housing. And then if you want to go deep into the cleaning, there is 2 screws here that will allow you to disassemble this element. This one has already been cleaned by the owner probably, so we're not going to bother with it. And then here we have the next part we are going to disassemble. So we have here this penta prism, which is held by this mechanism with 2 springs and then another part like a bracket to hold it. You can maybe take a closer look at that. So, and then my guess is that in some cases when you get like a crash or something, this thing was able to move freely, so you avoid damaging the glass. So this is my guess on why you have this kind of mechanism. So what we're going to do now is to release the spring. So I take a small hook that I pass below here, and then try to hold it so the thing doesn't fly away. And then here you go, we have loose this spring part, and then there's this rubber to protect the glass. Pay attention not to lose it. And then here we want to remove the bracket, but then to remove the bracket we'll need to remove this plate. Okay, here you go, the little plate. Then we will remove the bracket, which is held by 2 screws here on the side there. And then when disassembling a lens or whatever, always keep the screws with the parts they're supposed to go with, or otherwise you will find yourself in a big mess of screws, and then you will get totally lost and then probably get in the same situation as the owner of this lens, that he wasn't able to put it back together. Okay, so here we have the bracket, and then what I do is I put it with the screws that go with it. Okay, now we are really close to reaching the optical blocks. So here we have this element here that we want, and then we have to remove them. And then the reason I will explain to you just after. Okay, so we have removed that, and then we can proceed to remove this part. And then we actually need to remove this element here because the frame, well, is a bit flexible, but then this penta prism here is able to tilt. So if we don't remove this part here, if we get it to tilt, we're going to deform this thing permanently, and then this we want to avoid. Okay, so far so good. We are going to remove this bracket here that I'm touching with my finger right now. There is 4 screws. Okay, so here you go. The bracket and then the screw, which is a bit rebel. And then here, if we remove now these 2 screws and then these 2 here, we'll be able to pull this here and then a piece of glass. So be very careful when removing it. Don't do harsh manipulations because you risk of having, okay, I think I lost a screw. Ah, here it is. Okay, it jumped when it fell. Okay, so pay attention, I'm holding with my finger because this is the 3rd screw, and then with the 4th. You have 1 block of glass that is going to come out. And then here, when I got it, there was 1 part missing, so I had to use some tape. Maybe it happened to the owner while disassembling it, he didn't pay attention and then the thing dropped or whatever. But then here I was able to recover the little piece and then use some tape, put it back together. It's not perfect, but you barely see what's going on. You can see it there on the corner. Okay, and so we have gotten our first piece of glass out. This one is a bit dirty, you can maybe perceive it there. And then now we are going to remove this one here, which is also the dirtiest. To do so, there is still 2 screws, they are hidden here. And then to get them loose, I had to use some acetone, so to lose the glue that was keeping them together. And then with that we can get this guy to move, and then we can remove. Okay, let's be careful anyway. I can remove this little element here as well, which is rather not clean. Okay, here you go. It's a bit dirty as well, so we're going to clean that, and then the last element, which is the penta prism. So it seems to be sticking down there with some tape or rubber or whatever. So what I will try to do is just not to damage that element, because that will be a pity. Seems to be the rubber which is making the water tightness here. So I will try to live with it. I will try to clean it this way, and then if I don't, I will break that bond of rubber. I was trying to take a look on how to access this guy for cleaning, and then I decided finally to break the rubber that was holding the glass. So I'm just going to show you what I did. It's not complex at all, so you don't need to worry. So what I did is I came with a scalpel, and then I just pushed here in between. I did that very gently, and then that simply allowed me to break the bond that was going on there. And then here you go, we are able to remove this piece of glass, and then here we will be able to clean it. And then I did it because, as you can see, maybe if I get the light reflection right, the lens is unclean. Okay, this is just my fingers, so don't count that. But then here you had a lot of haze, and then dust, and so on, so on, so on. Okay, so I have already removed the dust with my finger by doing that. And then what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you how to do a cleaning of one glass surface. It is not difficult at all, so you just need some patience. So to do the cleaning of an optical surface, so what we do is to take some lens cleaning fluid that I have here. This is something I buy myself, and then you will find yourself the link for this on the video description if you want to get some. So this is the first thing, and then I will use a collection of microfiber cloths. So this one, which is rather old, and then I have a newer one to do the final cleaning, and then I proceed in 2 steps. So nothing really complicated. So first thing we do is the preliminary cleaning. So I take my lens cleaning solution, I spread it all over the glass surface, and then with my microfiber cloth I just come and wipe. And then the goal of the whole thing is just by reflection seeing that the surface is as clean as possible, and then you don't have little specks of dust or reflections of cleaning traces or whatever. And then this is pretty much what you should get. I got it in the first shot, so I'm quite happy with it. I'm asking myself if I need the second cleaning. It seems not, but then the second cleaning is I apply again the lens cleaning fluid, and then I proceed with my other microfiber cloth, which is a bit newer. But then here you go, this is the principle, nothing really complicated. You just need to get the surface clean. Obviously for the dust you can use a blower to get it away, and then that's pretty much for the clean. So what I'm going to do, not to annoy you, with that is to do the rest of the clean of the camera, and then we meet again just for reassembling the whole thing. So see you in a few seconds. Okay, so we are done with the clean. Now we are going to reassemble the whole thing. I have these elements here that seems to be like felt or something like that I didn't bother to clean it because I didn't want to damage them, because my guess is they give some damping to this prism here that I'm just going to put in position. So the space is ready for it, and then once it is done you don't see it here on the video. Okay, so that's for that, and then here we take the masterpiece, which is the penta prism that we will need to put it in position, and then it will lean against the prism we just put before. Then my guess is that to get all these guys together, we have this bracket here. Okay, by putting this element in position, so I'm talking about this bracket, we just put the pentaprism is not going to move anywhere. Then we can make sure further by that by just setting the screws that are going to block it. So try obviously to be equilibrated with them. Okay, so here we go. We have the first optical elements in position, and then it's looking really good right now. You don't have traces of dust or haze anymore. Then here, just to finish with the optical part, so we can put this guy already in. So we hold it because, as I mentioned, this guy is just floating there, well, until you actually fix it. So put one side, then the other, and then, okay, as expected, I forgot to blow before putting it in position, so I have one speck of dust that got in. So that's not a big deal because this part is easy to remove. So let's keep going. I will do it after I have finished the video. Okay, so far so good. We have assembled the optical elements. This is the most important part. Then we can proceed to put in the bracket. So we do it here. Don't forget the rubber to protect the glass. Okay, we get this guy, we center it, then with something like a little hook, try to pull it in position. Then here you go. That was extremely simple. Never happened like that in videos actually, but then I got lucky. Okay, so far so good. We can put This guy is here. Then pay attention to the direction of these guys. So there is one part which is wider here, you have like an angle, and then that goes towards the lens direction on the big part of the finder. So just like that. Let me just zoom so you see what's going on. So you see the angle here is towards this point here. So don't forget to do that. Okay, we're good here. Now I just noticed that I forgot to put the screws on the bracket here. That explains probably why it was so easy to put it. So maybe that's something you can exploit just to make the assembly of this element here a bit easy. So here we put the screws, then we put this kind of identification plate, okay, here you go, we reach the housing part. And then here you go, this is how you disassemble, clean and reassemble a Nikon DA-1 sports finder for the Nikon F2. And this is all I wanted to show you today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.